Welcome to the Little League World Series presented by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. The kids of summer are back. It's time again for Little League Baseball to take over your sports landscape. 16 teams, 8 from the U.S., 8 from across the globe have traveled here to South Williamsport, Pennsylvania to determine the world's best Little League Baseball team for 2016. Opening ceremonies just a short while ago. First pitch will fly minutes from now. And here's the way it works. Players are all between the ages of 10 and 13. The field, of course, two-thirds the size of a big league field. Games 6 innings in length, unless, of course, one team leads by 10 runs after 4 innings. And it is Little League, so everyone plays here. Hello again, and welcome back to the Little League World Series. So good to be with you again. I'm Jay Crawford. And we will be here with you for the next 11 days, 30 games in total. I mentioned 16 teams, one bracket made up of the 8 U.S. teams. The other side of the bracket, 8 international teams. 2 Sundays from now, we will play to determine a Little League World Series champion. Storylines coming into this year's tournament, of course, internationally, we begin with Japan. They have been dominant here, the champions a year ago. In fact, Japan has won 4 of the last 6 Little League World Series. Stateside, Goodlettsville, Tennessee is back. They were the U.S. champs in 2012. Some other familiar faces, Chula Vista, back for the 3rd time. 6 of the last 8 times the West Region champ has won the U.S. title. San Antonio, Texas, back for the 3rd time in 8 years. They made a nice run here several years ago. And Bowling Green has 3 teams back from a team that played here a year ago. We have 4 games to open the tournament today. Here's a glance at the teams that will be playing in this year's tournament. Internationally, Japan always dominant. On the U.S. side, again, Chula Vista, California. That West region has represented the U.S. 6 of the last 8 times in the title game. 4 games today, 2 on the international side, 2 on the U.S. side. Mexico and Panama get the honors in Game 1. Dave Fleming and Kyle Peterson get the honor of bringing it to you. Guys, great to see you again, and welcome back to South Williamsport. Let's play ball.
All right, Jay, it is so cool to be back. The Little League World Series presented by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. And as Jay just mentioned, our matchup to get things started, Panama from Latin America against the team from Mexico. Hi, everybody. Dave Fleming along with Kyle Peterson. I think it's one of the great days on the baseball calendar at any level. We get it started here in Williamsport on the international side. Jay talked about the success of Japan, Kyle. Not just Japan, 4 straight international winners of the overall title here in Williamsport. And Team Mexico, I think, has to be considered a contender this year.
Yeah, they were in the middle of it last year. And I think if you're this Mexico team this year, you can look no further than how close they were last year. Lost 1-0 to Japan in the international championship game last year. And you see the champs in the last 4 years, 3 times Tokyo. Japan, 1 South Korea. Both of those countries are represented this year at the Little League World Series. But a team in Mexico that has a long history here at the Little League World Series.
And then Panama, this is a Little League that has been here before from that country in Central America. And they have a player, Kyle, who's one of the youngest in the whole tournament, who might be their star.
Yeah, there's not a lot of times you see a 5'9", 140-pound 11-year-old, and that's exactly what you see in Esmid Pineda. In the middle of this Panama lineup, he's actually eligible to play here next year if Panama can come back. But this year, he's been one of their top hitters, had more home runs than anybody on this Panama team in the regional, and he's just 11 years old.
11 days of baseball from Williamsport, and it all gets started when we come back. Our first matchup, Panama and Mexico. First pitch from the Little League World Series when we come back.
Little League World Series is presented by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes cereal. They're great, and in part by the Odyssey from Honda, official vehicle of Little League. And IHOP, come together over breakfast.
Well, what a great day in Williamsport. Dave Fleming, Kyle Peterson with you for Game 1 of the Little League World Series. Panama and Mexico is our matchup on the international side of this Little League World Series bracket. And the team from Panama, a beautiful country in Central America. This particular Little League from the city of Aguadulce, which is on the Pacific side, a town of 8,700, 137 miles southwest of the capital, Panama City. Freshwater, the name of that town, even though it sits right along the Pacific Ocean. They've been here 2 times before this Little League. And before we get started, let's meet the kids from Panama, brought to you by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
Mi nombre es Leonardo Bernal y mi jugador favorito es Salvador Pérez.
Mi nombre es Eduardo Betancourt. Mi jugador favorito es Mike Trout.
Mi nombre es Anel Calderón. Mi jugador favorito es Mariano Rivera.
Me llamo Harrison Castillo y mi jugador favorito es Yacier Puy.
Mi nombre es Manuel Cruz. Mi jugador favorito es Eric Hosmer.
Mi nombre es Abel de León y mi jugador favorito es Salvador Pérez.
Mi nombre es Carlos González. Mi jugador favorito es Johnny Céspedes.
Mi nombre es Benedicto Jaén y mi jugador favorito es Salvador Pérez.
Mi nombre es Melvin Jaramillo. Mi jugador favorito es Altuve.
Mi nombre es Smith Pineda. Mi jugador favorito es Mark Teixeira.
Mi nombre es Juan Rodríguez. Mi jugador favorito es José Bautista.
Mi nombre es Tomás Sarmiento y mi jugador favorito es Troy Tulowitzki.
Mi nombre es Joaquín Tejada. Mi jugador favorito es José Bautista.
Mi nombre es José Felipe Torres. Mi jugador favorito es Alcides Escobar.
All right, so that's the team from Panama, and here's the pitcher they will face, a right-hander, Victor Juarez of the team from San Nicolas, Mexico.
Favorite emoji. I like that touch. I'm going to ask you yours in a while, Dave. Big right-hander Victor, who's warming up, can really run it up there. 13 years old, 5'9", 130 pounds. And remember, that pitching mound just 46 feet away, so it'll get on these kids from Panama pretty quick.
And he gets the honor of the first pitch of the 2016 Little League World Series. We are underway, and it's a called strike from our home plate umpire, Brian Henry. Here we go. 11 days of ball here in Williamsport. Tomas Sarmiento, leadoff hitter, shortstop for Panama. He's got that nice deliberate motion. And this is outside, a 75-mile-an-hour pitch. And we'll show you the MLB equivalent. You talked about how much closer the mound is here at Little League. That's the equivalent of a 98-mile-an-hour big league fastball.
And that's the one thing is tough to recreate for these kids before they get to this level. It's just how quick that fastball gets on them.
Well, Sarmiento puts it in play, but the shortstop Cortez throws him out, 1 away. So this is what we're talking about with the equivalent, at least in terms of the reaction time that the hitter has with the delivery from the pitcher. If you throw 70 here in Little League, it's the equivalent of a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. And we will see kids upwards of 77, 78, and who knows, maybe even a little bit higher.
And you like it too. Tomas Sarmiento starts it and puts it in play. Didn't hit it hard, but still shows the kids from Panama that even with a mid-70s fastball, they can go up there and be aggressive.
So 1 out. Leonardo Bernal, the catcher, and there's our first look at, well, that one.
I got one of these too.
That one at 71 miles an hour. That had a lot of movement to it. So I think right away, and part of the first day, first couple days, we get to see the kids up close. We watch them before they play games. Got a piece of that one. It's strike 2. But we sort of size up everybody here on the international side for the first time here today and tomorrow. And right away, you know, Team Mexico's got a guy with a really good arm.
And the big boy can run it up there, and he's got a pretty good little breaking ball too.
So Bernal is behind in the count, 0-2. He's got a catcher, Luis Nuncio, who's trying to frame some pitches for him. He's one of the better overall players for Mexico. Juarez, 1-2, got him. Complete the put out with the throw to first. That's the first strikeout here in Williamsport for Victor Juarez.
Get 2 breaking balls, get hit 0-2, run the fastball out of the way, and then come back with this one. Watch how good. That's not easy to do at any level. To throw a breaking ball on the arm side, so the side it's inside to a right-hander, and still get that movement down in the zone. Victor Juarez between 3 breaking balls so far. He's done a really good job of getting over the top of that pitch and finishing it. Gets his first strikeout right there.
Here comes big Carlos Gonzalez, one of the best hitters for Panama. Had a pretty good cut at that 77-mile-an-hour fastball. He is a big kid. He's got a lot of strength and power. Playing third base here in game 1. Maybe it's because the Olympics are going on right now. A lot of the kids that we talked to ahead of this Little League World Series mentioned Usain Bolt as one of their favorite athletes. 1-2.
I wonder if we had seen this 2 or 3 weeks ago, if the answers would have been the same.
I have a feeling that the 100-meter race might have influenced a couple of kids.
0-2. Play.
Here's Victor Juarez with that deliberate motion and then the velocity that comes out of that right arm. Missed down and away. I think sometimes you have a pitcher who works that deliberately with his motion and then throws hard. It can be hard to time as a hitter.
I think it looks even harder. It's just nice and easy, and everything is relaxed going to home plate. Does a good job of carrying everything towards that catcher, and then fastball's right on you. And that one.
Yeah. Good motion on that pitch. This is what Kyle's talking about.
Nice and easy it is. We get up to that balance point, then everything. All the momentum going towards home plate. A great finish with that head that finishes right through the catcher, and it's a lot easier to replicate that pitch if that head is going right towards the mitt.
2-2 and a foul ball. So even with the velocity, this kid Carlos Gonzalez, who we figure will be one of the best hitters for the team from Panama, he has had a nice at bat.
He looked comfortable at third base. They were taking infield. Some guys that just stand in there that just look like they're going to hit. Kind of a wider stance.
Hit it hard to short and picked clean. Cortez throws him out. Nice defense and a great start for Victor Juarez and the team from Mexico. So we're underway from Williamsport after a half inning, no score. Just getting started on this beautiful Pennsylvania day in Williamsport, and on the international side, game 1, no score. We go to the bottom of the first inning, and Mexico will hit for the first time. These kids from the San Nicolas Little League, part of the region of Nuevo Leon, and a big city right outside of Monterrey, Mexico, founded in 1597. A lot of history there. And before they hit, why don't we meet the kids from Mexico?
Hola, mi nombre es Diego Cantú y mi jugador favorito es Robinson Cano.
Hola, mi nombre es Gael Cortés y mi jugador favorito es Julio Urias.
Hola, mi nombre es Eduardo García y mi jugador favorito es José Altuve.
Hola, mi nombre es Milton González y mi jugador favorito es Adrián González.
Hola, mi nombre es Patricio Juárez y mi jugador favorito es José Altuve.
Hola, mi nombre es Víctor Juárez, mi jugador favorito Manny Machado.
Hola, mi nombre es José Leal y mi jugador favorito es Dustin Pedroia.
Hola, mi nombre es Raúl López y mi jugador favorito es Salvador Pérez. Hola, mi nombre es Fabián Mar y mi jugador favorito es Mike Trout.
Hola, mi nombre es José Miranda y mi jugador favorito es José Bautista.
Hola, mi nombre es Luis Nuncio, mi jugador favorito es Yadier Molina.
Hola, mi nombre es Francisco Torres y mi jugador favorito es Dustin Pedroia.
Hola, mi nombre es Alex Treviño y mi jugador favorito es Bryce Harper.
Hola, soy René Villarreal, mi jugador favorito es David Ortiz.
All right, so those are the kids from San Nicolas Little League in Nuevo Leon, Mexico. And here is the starting pitcher, Joaquin Tejada, right-hander, 13 years old for Panama.
Well, we always get scouting reports on these teams, and the coaches provide them. And Joaquin Tejada is one that all of the coaches said has really been one of their top arms. That's why you see him in the spot. Another big, tall right-hander, same as we saw from Mexico.
And the leadoff hitter, Fabian Mar, center fielder. Little kid taking strike one of the littler players here in Williamsport. That pitch equivalent right out of the chute, 100 miles an hour. How about that one? 13 years old. Fabian takes a ball. Well, the scouting report, 2 pitches in on the money.
Tall right-handed, throws hard. Usually works out pretty well.
Tejada on the outside for strike 2.
Similar to how deliberate both of them are. It's a nice slow movement towards home plate. Nothing's rushed. Especially at this level, out of the windup, you don't have to worry about anybody going anywhere, even if they are on the base pass. Allows you to really get balanced and then take everything towards home plate.
He shows off and Fabian kind of gave it away. He thought that was strike 3.
I think everybody did. Leonardo Bernal is the catcher. Fabian Mar is the hitter. And watch both of them. Yep. One's throwing it down to third. The other one's taking a walk, and both of them stay put. It's new life.
I'd be swinging here if I were Fabian. And he did. He strikes out swinging. And a strikeout right away for Tejada, who, if Team Panama is going to make some noise on this very tough, competitive international side, he's going to have to be a key figure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And their manager, Luis Gonzalez, who's been here before. This Aguadulce Little League has been here twice previously in Williamsport, and he was the manager both times. So I think Luis Gonzalez sort of knows what it takes to get it done in this Little League World Series, and he feels like the top couple pitchers for this Panamanian team are going to have to be the leaders. Gael Cortez, the shortstop, strike 1 swing. I thought the play he made for the third out in the top of the first was an excellent one.
It's hard for a ball to get to you quicker than it did out at shortstop, and the glove was in the right spot to start. If the glove's high, there's not enough time to get it down, but it's a good fielding percentage. They're in a good fielding position and making 2 of the 3 plays in the inning.
Breaking ball for ball 2. We haven't brought the StatCast to the Little League World Series yet, so we didn't get the official exit velocity, but I guarantee you it came off that of Carlos Gonzalez at a very high speed. 2-1. Right there. Strike 2. So 8 teams on the international side, 8 teams on the U.S. side, and each bracket stays separate until the championship. That one just missed. Another 77-mile-an-hour fastball. Full count to the shortstop. 3-2. We do appreciate the umpires. You hear Brian Henry's voice. He's the home plate umpire here from Lakemont, Georgia. A little bit high. That's our first base runner of this Little League World Series. There's Brian Henry, home plate umpire. Sante Del Vecchio, William Freeman, Sean Gilday, Johnny Stewart, Jeff Freeze. The rest of the crew, all volunteer. They pay their own way. And these umpires, you get to come, it's such a coveted spot. You get to come to Williamsport one time. That one off the catcher. He can't find the ball. It's right around home plate. Cortez thought about taking off for third, but he'll stay at second.
A lot of times we talk about the reaction time of the hitters. It's no different for a catcher, too, when kids are throwing this hard. The fastball from Tejada has been as high as 78 miles an hour already. So not a lot of time for the catcher, especially on a ball that's up and out of the zone. Cortez advances out towards second.
And I got a pretty good piece of our home plate umpire, who is okay, apparently. There's a strike.
1-1.
Well, it is a big honor for these umpires who give a lot of themselves for the game of baseball at the Little League level.
Yeah. A ton of time.
Foul tip, strike 2.
Not the first time they've seen the place. They're brought here in May just to kind of get acquainted a little bit and understand the surroundings and everything else, but obviously a different feeling once the game starts.
Well, look, there's pressure at the Little League World Series, and it's on the kids, and it's also on the umpires. For most of these guys, this will be their big stage. Strike 3 called. Maybe Brian Henry practiced his punch out move.
First called strikeout. Brian Henry's in midseason form too. Perfect. Good extension with the right arm. He's dialed up already.
So 2 down. And the cleanup hitter, Luis Nuncio. He's the catcher. A left-handed hitter, a little bit high, maybe outside. Did he go? Sean says no. Thought about it.
1-0. Ball.
2-0 to Nuncio. The manager of the team from Mexico describes Luis Nuncio as probably their best overall hitter. He's also their closer, so they will use him late in games to try to finish games off.
His bullpen roles established too. Closer hit 4th.
He's got the Buster Posey thing going from his days in college, where he was the closer, the catcher, the cleanup hitter.
Former Seminole.
Okay.
Buster could play everywhere as a little leaguer and all the way through college. I think Luis Nuncio could probably play anywhere on the diamond. Trying to put Team Mexico ahead in Game 1 of this Little League World Series. Tejada tried that breaking ball and he misses high. Did you call that a slider?
That's what he's trying to do. I mean, it's got a little slurve to it, and sometimes it's just how well you get over the top of it. For kids this age, you got to throw the breaking ball. I'd love to see it more of a traditional curveball where you're really trying to get over the top.
That one hit to third. Gonzalez with that very strong arm threw him out. We've seen some good defense right away, and the big-time throwing arm from Carlos Gonzalez.
We already saw the bat. He had a bullet to shortstop his first at bat. Now watch how he moves defensively. Carlos Gonzalez over at third base. We think about 80 miles an hour. This one got across the diamond. A scoreless first in Williamsport.
No score after inning number 1, game number 1 from Williamsport, Panama and Mexico. We've seen some good defense already, and how about the throwing arm from Carlos Gonzalez, the third baseman for Panama.
We saw him at the plate already. And now we got to worry about a runner too. I mean, the arm's got to get a little bit higher, and that was a missile across the diamond. Watch the base run. I mean, it's directly in line with where the throw was going to go. You got about 75 across the diamond right there. I bet we see him on a mound at some point. I have a feeling that Mr. Gonzalez is going to run into one at some point because the swing looked great his first time up.
Well, and we always highlight defense here in Williamsport at the Little League level, where you don't have a lot of time to make these plays with the 60-foot base paths, 2/3 big league field size. Strike 1 from Victor Juarez, who is impressive on the mound for Mexico in the first. That's beat Pineda, who is just 11 years old. We talked about him right off the top, one of the youngest players in the Little League World Series.
Ball. 1-1.
Well, the team from the Caribbean region, the team from Curacao, great baseball country. And we'll see them tomorrow.
Yes, he did.
He went around. Yes, he did. Strike 2. So we get 4 teams on each side of the bracket, international and U.S., who get their Little League World Series started today. The other 4 on each side will play tomorrow. Pretty good swing by Pineda. 1-2. You can see why they think he's one of the more talented players. I think those are the Canadian kids sitting in front of Curacao, and then some U.S. kids from the southeast region on the U.S. side up above. For me, it's one of the best parts about Williamsport is where the players love to, after they're done playing or before, come watch some games.
Stands. In the stands, sitting with kids from all around the world. Here's kind of how everybody gets to this point. We get the district tournament first, and the section, the state, or the national tournament, depending on where you're from. in the world, the regional tournament, which we brought you last week from across the country, and then here to the Little League World Series. 7,500 leagues worldwide enter a team.
And on the international side in particular, a lot of the teams play their tournaments a couple months ago. And so some of these teams, they practice and they play scrimmage games, but they have qualified long ago. I mean, in some instances, close to 3 months ago to get here to Williamsport.
Team from Australia, it's been upwards of 2 months since they played another team.
Strike to the pitcher, Joaquin Tejada. Yeah, so the longest layoff of any team. Australia, South Korea's had to wait a while. And the team from Mexico, about a month since they qualified.
Ball.
Fastball missing.
Ball.
And of course, we got the two venues here in this great baseball facility. We're at Volunteer Stadium, Lamade. You might call it up the hill a little bit, almost connected. But fans can mingle between the two, watch a game here, go up the hill, watch a game at Lamade. That's a swing and a miss, but the ball got to the backstop, and Tejada will reach base safely. Strikeout, but I'm assuming that'll be a wild pitch. That's how Panama gets their first base runner.
I think against this right arm of Victor Juarez, you'll take base runners however you can get him. Another good breaking ball. Seen the fastball up 76, 77 miles an hour. His control has been really good so far, too. 3 strikeouts so far for Juarez, but the third ends up reaching first base. 5 for 5 so far in first pitch strikes. I make it 6 for 6.
That's a good way to have success.
Yeah. Starting 0-1 when you're standing on the mound is a pretty good feeling. And he's done it with a few different pitches. That time the breaking ball to get ahead.
Ball.
1-1 to Edward Rodriguez, 12 years old. Big fan. We heard him in the opening of Jose Bautista. He's got kind of that lean, lanky build. Generate the power with the long arms.
1-2.
Juarez, and that one is kind of blooped down the first base side. No chance for Milton Gonzalez to get there. So foul ball. And that's the scene from Volunteer Stadium. Just a beautiful venue. They always have the fields in perfect condition.
1-2.
Packing them in to start, too.
Packing them in.
Stands full, about 4 or 5 deep in the outfield.
2-2, missed with that breaking pitch, that curveball.
2-2.
The pitch count, we'll talk about it more as the game and the tournament goes along, but the pitch count is an issue with the rules here at the Little League level about mandatory rest after certain numbers of pitches, and managers can try to use some strategy in how they use their pitchers. And these are the rules. If you throw 66 or more, you got to rest for 4 days, and it goes sort of down in tiers from there.
Max per game at 85. You can finish the batter if you go beyond it.
To short, they get one, and not quite in time. Pretty good turn by Cortez and Garcia, but just enough speed from Rodriguez to stay out of the double play.
Got our guy Cortez out at shortstop now. I mean, we saw him handle a bullet last inning. Now this time he's got to give ground a little bit to start what looked to be a chance to a double play. Watch how he waits as long as he can for that hop, and then throws a strike over to second base for Eduardo Garcia. Not enough time to turn the double play, but great hands out there at shortstop from Cortez. He's already handled a ball that was smoked at him. That time had to wait a little bit longer with great hands.
And the beautiful footwork from the second baseman Garcia, too. That was just well done. And it was close. We don't see a lot of double plays.
No, especially on balls, and that ball wasn't hit all that well. Right call down at first base. That's about as well as you can turn it on the infield for Mexico.
On the outside, 0-2. And the point you made about the shortstop Cortez giving, make sure you get the one out. If you get two, great. Do what you got to do to get that first out.
Just gave him a little bit more time to react to that hop.
Jose Felipe Torres, the hitter, and he strikes out swinging on the high fastball. So the strikeout arm of Victor Juarez and the good defense behind him. No score, middle of 2. Well, we're back here in Williamsport, and the team from Mexico, from the state of Nuevo León, San Nicolas Little League in the northeast corner of Mexico. Beautiful part of the country, sort of stretching across the border of South Texas. And a lot of great baseball history there as well. And how about we welcome in the third member of our broadcast team for a little more on Team Mexico, Marisol Castro. Welcome back to Williamsport.
Oh, so great to be here. I would have it no other way. If it's August, we're in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, are we not? So here's a team from Mexico. Half of the team families drove 38 hours across something like 5 states to get here. If that doesn't sound bad enough, the other half of the families, well, they flew into Newark in a 4-hour bus ride here, except halfway through their bus broke down. There was no air conditioning. So what did they do? Well, the star pitcher, Victor Juarez, he decides to lead the entire van in song. They began to sing Mexican ballads because nothing says Little League World Series like a Mexican ballad, right?
Good timing.
Said that for years.
Because Victor's at the plate to lead off here in the bottom of the second. It is a cool thing that so many of the families are able to get here to Williamsport. I mean, it's not a short journey. And almost every family has some representation here.
Chartered a bus. It was 7 or 8 families that were on that trip.
The longest trip
as far as Sydney, but still, that's a pretty good trek.
Yeah, I would say. Seoul, South Korea, Tokyo, Japan. The kids from Italy, we'll see them later this afternoon. Cool story, Little League from Emilia. And yeah, the Mexican fans not just traveling a long distance, but bringing their props, bringing the costumes. One ball, one strike the count to the pitcher, Victor Juarez, right-handed hitter. In the dirt. 2-1. His brother Patricio is also on this team. Patricio only 11 years old. So big brother, little brother. 3-1. Well, Joaquin Tejada, he gave up 1 walk, no hits in the first inning. He did have to throw 20 pitches. So he's got the great stuff, the big right arm. But unlike the kid who's at the plate, Victor Juarez having a little tougher time staying in the strike zone so far. That one's in there. 3-2.
When it is in the zone, the stuff's been really good. Up to 78. Both these kids are throwing really hard.
3-2.
Foul ball, still full 3-2. Well, the big arms on these two teams, we'll see power arms for Seoul, South Korea, for Tokyo, Japan. Curaçao's got a very talented team. We've heard good things about them. A team from Canada had a great pitching performance in their national tournament.
2 separate no-hitters in their national tournament.
Struck him out swinging.
That's on the transfer. It's on the transfer. He's down.
Now this is the bracket here in Williamsport. On the international side, our matchup later today, Italy and Australia. 2 games on the U.S. side this afternoon and tonight. Rhode Island and New York, Bend, Oregon, and the kids from Tennessee. And then tomorrow, the rest of the teams, the other 8, will be in action. Canada, Japan, South Korea, Curacao tomorrow on this international side. Ball strike to Jose Miranda. Last 15 champions of the overall Little League World Series. So overall champs have won their opening game. If you lose game 1, it's not impossible, but it's very difficult to go all the way and win the title.
And every time that they've gone to, or since they've gone to this 16-team approach here at the Little League World Series, you've had to win game 1 to go on and win the championship.
So, look, we got a long way to go. We got 11 full days of Little League World Series baseball, but these games today and tomorrow are very important. And we've got another strikeout Tejada did with a big-time fastball. So Miranda is down swinging. 2 down.
4 strikeouts each so far on the mound. Breaking ball earlier in this one, then a little fastball that's in on his hands. Remember, 75 miles an hour. That's the major league equivalent to 98. You know, in your hands at 12 years old, that's not easy to handle.
You got to get that swing started early. 2 down, 4 strikeouts for Tejada already. Milton Gonzalez, the first baseman, left-handed hitter. And it looks to me like Tejada is finding a comfort zone. Gonzalez puts it in play. Can we see the strong arm again? Yeah. Carlos Gonzalez at third base. He's shown it off twice. And that's it for Mexico in inning number 2.
The feet set one time. This time had to move a little bit to make this play. But watch the arm strength of Carlos Gonzalez. Field it. Get it to that bare hand. Strong throw across. Still scoreless. 2 in the books from Williamsport.
Already packed in the stands and up on the hillside. How about that guy just relaxing? Game 1, the Little League World Series is underway here in Williamsport. Time for our Fresh Take, brought to you by Subway. And as we get this Little League World Series started in 2016, Japan is back for the last champions from Tokyo. 2 former U.S. champions are back. The Little League from Chula Vista in California, from Goodlettsville, Tennessee. And I think, Kyle, lots of us have circled that Oregon-Tennessee matchup tonight, 7 Eastern on ESPN. A real interesting opening round matchup.
Yeah, that would be fun. A good nightcap to start day 1. 4 more games tomorrow, all of them on ESPN. So by the end of the day tomorrow, all 16 teams will play their first game here in Williamsport.
A bunt attempt and picked up foul. Nice play, good effort by Jose Leal, the third baseman, but it was foul.
You had talked a minute ago just about the defense and the things that we see here at the Little League World Series. I think that's the thing that sometimes is the most shocking. How about the way they shifted right there, too? The second baseman, Eduardo Garcia, went all the way over to cover first, knowing the first baseman was going to charge. Even though the ball was foul, it was really well executed by Mexico.
1-1 to Edouard Bethencourt. And apparently he offered at it. He didn't think so. It's 0-2. Very colorful nickname, El Zurdo. I think roughly means the lefty. He's a left-handed hitter.
Seems to make sense.
Left-handed thrower. 1-2. Well, Aguadulce Little League, they have been here before. An experienced manager. Edouard wasn't sure that it was a ball. I think sometimes there can be a little language barrier with the umpire and the players on the field. And it's important to if you're not a comfortable English language speaker, there are a few terms that are important to know. It is a challenge for the international teams. So he just wanted to make sure that was actually a ball. Now we got an equipment problem with Nuncio. Maybe just swap out the mask and work on it in the meantime. Well, the Little League Grow the Game grant program was created to provide local Little Leagues the resources they need for general improvement and to expand or establish Little League Softball, Little League Challenger Division, and Little League Urban Initiative programs. For more information, visit littleleague.org/growthegame. And so far, it's been a great success. That ball fouled right back toward us. Look out!
Make a play.
Well, I'm reading the card here. Look, I got the
card in one hand, but you got a free hand right here.
Well, yeah, but
some effort would be appreciated in that.
Really? Yeah, I kind of hung out our crew to dry there. I'm hitting the deck. He got him, but the ball gets by Nuncio again in the dirt, and that will be another base runner for Panama. A wild pitch.
Did you see it? Well, yeah, you did. Yep, you saw it.
I mean, not like you were diving for it either.
It was too far. I mean, it first of all, it'd be rude for me just to dive across you, which I wouldn't do that. Secondly, I'd simply assume that you would extend your left arm, but that didn't happen.
Hey, look, hey, partner, you're looking down to do a little work, and maybe I might help you out while a baseball's flying up.
Hard. Man, here. Where the
no helmet. How about the glove? I'll take the glove. I'm taking our props
that
down.
one either.
Yeah. No. No. Look, and it's got. I don't know if that is my nickname. You going with that?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I was going to ask you what your nickname was.
Yeah.
The Flemmer. That a boy.
All right. I'll keep
lock
this
that
nearby.
thing up. Yeah. Put it on. Nearby is not going to.
That's not good enough.
No.
Okay. So just call the game with
reaction
the glove on?
time didn't seem to be the quickest. I think you're better if you have that on.
I think the reaction time was fine. Yeah, that was a 114-mile-an-hour big league foul ball. We are pretty close down here.
2-0.
It's 2-0, by the way, with a runner at first and still nobody out, and we're just totally fine. That one's high. 3-0. Sort of the first blip on the radar for Victor Juarez with the command. You got the ninth place hitter Melvin Jaramillo at the plate, just 5 feet tall, 12 years old.
3-0.
And a walk would put 2 on with nobody out and bring the top of the order up. It is ball 4. So the strikeout but the wild pitch, and now the walk means 2 on, nobody out. Panama's got a good opportunity here.
Excelente.
I think you heard the coach talking to Melvin Jaramillo. Excelente. That's a nice job. Don't chase against a guy who's throwing very hard.
No hay outs. Pueden tocar la bola. Vamos a asegurar un out. ¿Sale? Vamos a asegurar un out. Vamos a hacer la número 1. ¿Sale? Vamos, está pichando muy bien. Vamos, fájese. Vamos, niños. Vamos, vamos, arriba.
A pretty simple message.
Which I like. Yeah, I mean, I think in a spot like this, kids are in an environment they haven't been in before. You look in the stands, there's people all over the place. You get your first few base runners on with nobody out. Simplify it. Just get the first out. First out, then we'll figure it out after that. Victor Juarez, but for that last hitter, has looked outstanding on the mound.
That was basically the message there from Antonio Rodriguez, the young manager of this team from Mexico. Leadoff hitter Tomas Sarmiento grounded out his first time up, went to bunt, offered at it for a strike. And I said Sarmiento, it's Abel De Leon who is the pinch hitter. We call him Abelito, and maybe in a spot where he can get a bunt down. That's strike 2. Try to pick the perfect spot for a kid who typically is a good bunter. Got the mandatory play rules here at Little League, so everybody's got to get in the game. And I think managers for every team have certain ideas of how their bench players can contribute. He struck him out swinging. So that is that first out that Antonio Rodriguez was talking about. Mandatory play, and it does differ based on the number of players a team has at the beginning of the game. If you have 13 or 14, everybody has to bat at least once. If you have 12 or fewer, each player has to play 6 consecutive defensive outs and come to bat at least one time.
Which both of these teams have 14, so every kid just has to hit Jay Crawford talked about it when we came on the air. It's one of the best rules I think a Little League has. Everybody's got to play.
Ball 1 to Leonardo Bernal, who struck out his first time up, and now everybody's seen Victor Juarez one time. Base hit could put Panama out in front. Good one. Strike one. These are 6 innings games, of course, so here we are in the third. You take a lead at this part. We're in the middle of the game now. Hit well, but foul down the right field line. Not quite home run distance for Bernal.
You got a little quick pitch going here too. I like it. Seen everything from Victor Juarez. Seen a nice slow delivery towards home plate. That time sped it up a little bit just to give the hitter a little different look. And Bernal just a little late on that fastball.
Let's see if he, this time the full leg kick, bounced it. 2-2. Yeah, that sort of slide step quick pitch. We're seeing more big leaguers do that.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe inspired by Johnny Cueto, who's had great success in his career doing. I see big leaguers all over the game trying to mix and match the timing.
It's so important. I mean, even if velocity is the same, if it looks different to a hitter, it's not as easy to sit there and be comfortable in the box.
All right, right back in. Here we go.
Well, you got Bernal at the plate, 2 on, 1 out. Carlos Gonzalez is
2-2.
coming up next, and he is the big slugger for the team from Panama. Nice pitch there, and that's strike 3. 2 down.
Strikeout number 7 on the day for Victor Juarez. We've seen the fastball into the mid-70s, but the ability to control this one has been really impressive. He'll throw it early in the count, then throw it as a put-away pitch. You can see a good curveball gets right over the top. The spin is top to bottom, and it gives the breakdown just an out of the zone.
Well, here we go. This is the spot Panama wants. Their third place hitter, Carlos Gonzalez, who is a big physical kid. Hit a ball right on the button to shortstop his first at bat that was fielded cleanly. But a chance to do some damage here. And he does some damage. Line drive, base hit into left field. A little bobble out there by Miranda. And that will be the first run of the game for Panama. 1-0 on the RBI hit from Gonzalez.
We saw shades of this in the first at bat from Gonzalez, who hit a bullet out towards shortstop. This time it's a little bit different look. And Victor Juarez, who had already faced him once, looked like he took a little something off this one. And Gonzalez puts a great swing on it. Those are 2 perfect swings that we've seen from him so far. Hit out towards left field. Even if that one's fielded cleanly, I don't think there's any chance to throw Betancourt out at home plate. And Panama is the first round.
I agree.
First run of this Little League World Series.
It is not an error. I think that was going to be a run no matter what. Betancourt with his speed running on contact. Well, we're not even an hour in to this 2016 Little League World Series. I think, Kyle, we've already found one of the best hitters here in Williamsport in Carlos Gonzalez of Panama.
I want to see him on the mound too. From what we've seen from the arm from third base, but good looking swing, big kid, big arm.
So 1-0 and another good hitter, Pineda at the plate, and he hits one to right center field. And it's gone. Just kept going. And how about that? The big fly. First home run of this Little League World Series. And a big inning for Panama. 4-0.
Let's admit, Pineda, just 11 years old, but he did hit 6 home runs in the regional for this team from Panama. Little fastball out away. Perfect job of going with it. Lets it get deep. Backspin out towards right center field. The fence is 225 all the way around, and there's no chance he was holding that one. Panama with 4 runs here in the third inning.
That did have some backspin. He didn't hit it with a lot of loft, just hit it so hard it kept going.
Right here. Pitch. Pitcher.
So that's pretty impressive too. The base hit from Gonzalez to get it started, but then Pineda, who is the 3rd youngest player in the entire Little League World Series, with the first home run.
He won't turn 12 years old until November of this year.
And it's caught with some sun for Milton Gonzalez to battle with, but he made the play. And that's out number 3. But Panama jumps out in front.
Carlos Gonzalez got him on the board with a single to left field, and then Esmit Pineda out of the cleanup spot. That's the way to tack a few more on. A 3-run home run for Pineda, 4-0 Panama.
Panama with a 4-run top of the 3rd, and they take a lead on Mexico. Bottom of the 3rd, game 1 here from Williamsport. Our aerial coverage all Little League World Series long, brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And what a scene here in this little town in the hills of Pennsylvania, Williamsport, the home of the Little League World Series. One of the great baseball facilities anywhere. And we will see huge crowds over the next 11 days. If you are a baseball fan, you got to get here. Yep. You got to come.
What's cool every year, too, is we meet a few people that this is the first time they've been here, and the looks on their faces. Last year, I loved the reaction of Tim Kirchin when he was here, just because he's seen so much in this game. But to be in the middle of it for upwards of a week, you got to see it.
And Tim's coming back. He liked it so much. Tim Kirchin will be here.
Visit.
He's going to be here for a good chunk of time. Baseball Tonight will be doing their shows live from Williamsport, which I think is very cool.
Yep. So Adnan Vert this morning. He'll be here.
Eduardo Garcia, second baseman, taking ball 2. Well, Joaquin Tejada, he's got a lead now, 4-0.
2-0.
He's at the bottom part of the order. See if he can find the strike zone. That's been the main challenge for him. He's pitched well. Has not yet given up a hit. There's a strike. Leonardo Bernal, the catcher, was kind of waiting for that signal.
I don't know who he was mad at. He had both arms go flying up.
A little bit high. Well, Joaquin Tejada didn't look like he totally was looking forward to the pep talk from Carlos Gonzalez.
3-1.
He shot him a smile when he was done.
Ball 4. Second walk of the game issued by Tejada. Well, the manager, Luis Gonzalez, we talked about how he feels a lot of confidence in his middle of the order hitters. We'll get a chance to listen in.
Estamos ganando 4-0. Calma, diviértete en este jueguito. Me estás dando la bola muy arriba, tira de frente. Te veo bien, la velocidad está buena, vamos. Confianza en ti mismo. 4-0, dame 3 y ganamos este juego. Vamos. Vamos arriba.
And I think most of that was just, hey, it's 4-0. We have a lead. No reason to nibble. Maybe a quick pointer about the release point.
You saw the arm go up. Carlos Gonzalez gave a little pointer on his own on the way out, too.
But I think Luis Gonzalez, his main concern is, do we have enough arms to take us all the way through the tournament? Strike 1. Ninth place hitter, Raul Lopez, 13 years old. He loves sushi.
Oh boy.
Chokes up on the bat.
Ball.
Pretty close.
1-1.
1-2. You see those MLB equivalents.
1-2.
The mound closer. What the equivalent velocity on a major league diamond would be. That last fastball, 98 miles an hour.
Raul knows it too. He's choking up, just trying to put it in play.
He couldn't quite do it. Strike 3 swinging.
Well, the pep talk worked. Because after that, Joaquin Tejada was locked right into the zone. That time, let's hit fastball go again. Still in the mid-70s. 5 strikeouts the first time through the order for Joaquin Tejada.
We get a pinch hitter here, Patricio Juarez, the younger brother of the 5th place hitter and starting pitcher for the San Nicolas Little League out of Nuevo León, Mexico. Patricio, 11 years old. Bunts that one foul. And of course, part of Little League Baseball is that if you pinch hit, you don't have to remain in the game. The pitcher, the player who is being lifted for a pinch hitter can stay in the game, can come back in. Which is what we saw with Panama. Tomas Sarmiento, they used a pinch hitter for him, but he's back out at shortstop defensively. Another bunt attempt, and it's a fair ball. Nice play by the catcher Bernal. So the bunt moves Garcia to second, 2 down.
That's Leonardo Bernal, the catcher right here. It's a bunt. It doesn't look like it's going to go fair. Right at the last minute it does. Then he has to change everything. Esmi Pineda is charging from first base, and watch, right at the last minute he peels off. Look at that. I mean, the eyes were going to second. Everything was going to second, and then made the right decision. Just get the out. That out over at first base clears enough room to get it just over the top of that base runner to get a big second out.
That's pretty impressive. Ball 1 to Gael Cortez, and I think part of the idea for Mexico, hey, it's the 3rd inning, they're already down 4-0, but get a chance to get on the board with one of your best hitters, move that runner into scoring position.
Wow.
1-1 after the foul ball. I think sometimes that first run can relax everybody. Get one on the board.
Ball.
Has not been able to really command that breaking ball.
See, sometimes, especially with kids at this level, when you try to make it break with your body with that front side, that's when the arm lags behind. You just can't quite get over the top of it. We've seen some good ones from Tejada, but that one a little bit quick trying to get it there.
Ball.
Check swing, 3-1.
3-1. Sante, did he go? 3-1.
He did ask for the appeal. No swing. Good hitters count here for a good hitter. All right, I saw that one. It was you were going to cover me on that one.
How's that glove treat?
Still needs to be broken in a little bit.
Flam it up.
The Flemmers not quite broken in yet. 3-2 in the dirt. Ball 4. He went with that curveball in a full count, and that's interesting. That puts 2 on with 2 out for the 3rd place hitter, Jose Leal, due up, and it will be Leal. I don't know about that one. You're up 4-0.
Yeah.
No hits allowed, but the 3 walks, including 2 in this inning.
This is where that pitch count, you really start looking at it. Up to 50 pitches here. 2 outs in the 3rd inning. When it's in the zone, Tejada has been outstanding today.
He may be a little. I think it's been a good strike zone, but maybe on the smaller side from Brian Henry. So been some borderline pitches he would have liked to have had. 2-0. Leal can hit, but probably the best hitter is on deck. A walk would load the bases for Luis Nuncio, and that one was not particularly close. It's 3-0. Bernal, the catcher, he waited a long time to throw the ball back to Tejada.
He's tried a few tricks in this at bat.
Yeah. Setting that target right down the middle. That's a strike. Catcher taking charge, trying to be the leader. Two on, two out. Mexico down 4 runs. Big spot here. And a pretty good swing by Leal. Full count now, 3-2. This is now the second time through for the middle of the order. So they've seen Joaquin Tejada. Another pretty good cut. And I'm getting, who knows, but after he missed with ball 4 and tried the curveball, would he have the guts to try it again, or is he sticking fastball here?
3-2. He can throw for a strike. I think it's going to work out pretty well.
3-2. Strike 3 called. He stuck with the fastball and he got him. And Bernal excited about that pitch, getting out of the jam.
It's about making pitches when you have to, and 2 walks in the inning. The only base runners so far today for Mexico have been on the walk, but the 7th strikeout of the day for Joaquin Tejada gets him out of a jam. Through 3, Panama leads it 4-0.
4-0 Panama over Mexico. On to the 4th inning in Williamsport. Time for our valuable lesson with Kyle Peterson, brought to you by True Value.
I'm with Anthony from California. We're going to talk about finishing the playoff at first base. Inside, outside, making sure the catcher is really loud. So this is a 3rd strike. Not too many get away from Anthony, but this one did just a little bit. You ready, buddy? Outside. Outside. First baseman gets all the way outside the base, then it's much easier to make that throw. Now this is a ball in fair territory, just out in front. Inside, he clears himself, clears from the runner, first baseman inside. The key is we've got a chance to get an out right here, clear ourselves from that base runner, make sure the first baseman knows where the throw's coming from, and throw him a strike. Way to go, bud.
Okay, so we saw this last inning. Leonardo Bernal is the catcher, and even though he didn't have time to say inside, outside, watch how he clears himself from the base runner. So I think at this point he thinks he's going to second, but it does create more room for that throw. Even though it was high, still a chance to go right over the top of the base runner, makes it easier for that fielder to make the play, and Panama gets the out right there. Bernal's been very good behind the plate so far.
And he was at times, I think, a little frustrated with the lack of command from his pitcher, but at the same time then very excited when Tejada found the strike zone to get through the jam in the 3rd. A vocal leader behind the plate, and a good lesson for catchers everywhere. Well executed by Panama. They hit here in the 4th now. It is Anel Calderon pinch hitting for Edward Rodriguez. 12 years old, right-handed hitter. Ready to swing coming off the bench. Against Victor Juarez, who's only allowed 2 hits, but one of them a RBI single from the third place hitter Carlos Gonzalez, and then the very next hitter and the very next pitch, a 3-run homer from Pineda, the first baseman and cleanup hitter. 2 hits, 4 runs. 0-2. Missed with the breaking ball. That second time through, there was a difference against a guy who's obviously got a good arm, Victor Juarez.
And he fought back 2 to get 2 strikes. Went strikeout, and then both hits came with 2 strikes. At the 8th strikeout of the day right there for Victor Juarez. Fastball still in a great spot, and he's done a very good job. But for the 1 walk of really controlling the strike zone.
So 1 out. I think we're going to have another pinch hitter. This is Harrison Castillo. So his first at bat of the Little League World Series. That's a swing for strike 1. Do you like that emoji as his favorite? He's a romantic, Harrison is.
He is. Starting early.
1-1. 4 feet 11 inches tall. And I think part of what we love about the Little League World Series is, even though these players are tightly bunched in age, there are a lot of differences in terms of shape and size.
I remember, it was years ago, there was a first baseman for the team from Saudi Arabia was 6'7", and the second baseman was 4'6". So 2 feet separating kids on the same side of the infield.
That was a pretty good contrast.
Yeah.
1-2. Play.
Victor Juarez with his 1-2 pitch. That hit him. Castillo could not get out of the way. And that's a base runner for Panama.
¿Está bien? ¿Está bien? Okay. Luis.
Just making sure he's okay. Está bien. And he got the thumbs up.
Thumbs up, and I think we're going to get a special pinch runner right here too. You can do this in Little League. It's only once per player that's in the game. So Harrison Castillo gets his at bat, gets himself on first base, does his job.
And then it's Torres, who is in that spot in the batting order, who comes back in the game as the special pinch runner.
Here's the rule: not in the batting order as a special pinch runner. Only once per game for the player, once per inning for the team.
I like it. It's a good rule.
And it just gets more kids out to it.
Yep.
It's good.
That's a strike to the pinch hitter, Manuel Cruz. So Torres as the special pinch runner. Cruz as the hitter for his first at bat.
Right.
0-2.
0-2.
We likely will see Manuel Cruz on the mound in this tournament. He's one of their pitchers. Behind 0-2 at the plate. Slashes that one foul. Well, one thing, even though there's great baseball in Latin America, in that region, you play the regional tournament, you see some quality arms. You come to Williamsport, particularly in game 1, where you see what you might consider the aces of these teams. And these hitters, you're not facing a ton of guys who throw this hard and then who have a breaking ball on top of it. So 2 down. Well, by the way, we don't have just Little League baseball on ESPN this week. Sunday night baseball out in the Bay Area. The Giants will host the Mets at 8 Eastern. And a good pitching matchup. Jeff Samardzija, Noah Syndergaard. Coverage begins with baseball tonight. Sunday night countdown at 7 Eastern. And the gang will be right here in Williamsport getting you ready for Giants Mets.
Some little Jess Mendoza, who's out here already. Saw Jess last night, Jess doing a game tonight. Ellis Braden will be here doing some games. Booney will be here next week. The whole crew coming in.
Pinch hitter Benedicto Jaén, and he went around for strike 2. Yeah, Dallas Braden will be here. The right field umpire in this game, Jeff Freeze, He's buddies with Dallas from Stockton, California. They know each other.
From his Little League, right?
Yeah, from Dallas's Little League. That one got by the catcher on a high fastball, and that will move that special pitch runner Torres into scoring position. They call that a pass ball.
Crown on the field here, so all that water runs off when it really rains.
It makes his field drain beautifully. I think it can be a little bit of a challenge for the catchers. 2-2. And Raul Lopez is now catching. They flip-flop Lopez and Nuncio. Struck him out swinging. So another strikeout for Juarez. Is that number 10?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good stuff. But he and Mexico trail 4-0. Welcome back to the Little League World Series presented by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. High up above Williamsport, Pennsylvania. This is game 1 of the 2016 Little League World Series. Panama with a 4-0 lead over the team from Mexico. Bottom of the 4th inning. And Mexico, they have to get it going. We've talked about the importance of game 1. These two teams feel like they're championship contenders, both of them. Panama from the Latin American region. Mexico, they have their own region in Little League Baseball. We got some rally cap action going. 6-inning ball games. And we have not had a champion since we've gone to the 16-team format that has lost their opening game. First pitch swing by Nuncio, leading off for Mexico. So these opening games are very, very important. Even though it's double elimination, you're not eliminated if you lose. Makes it tough.
Yeah, it makes it tough. You have to use more arms to get back through it. Less off days.
Off-speed pitch, strike 2 with the little foul tip. I think that's probably the main reason why it's tough if you lose that first game. Extra games, extra innings out of your pitching staff. And an elimination game all the way through. Once you lose game 1, every game you play is an elimination game. A little bit low with the fastball from Joaquin Tejada, the starter, who's still in there for Panama. Nuncio, he may be Mexico's best hitter. So ideally, he comes up with runners on base. Hits that one hard and past the reach of the first baseman, Pineda. Just could not quite glove it.
With Nuncio, one of the better hitters, they go to a breaking ball right here. Comes right back into that barrel for the left-hander. It's hit hard right at Pineda, and they will call that an error.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Tried to go to the backhand side, just slid right into that glove.
Well, at the Little League level, ball hit that hard right to the first baseman's playing that close. That's a tough error. Now that is a base hit, and that will officially be the first hit of the game for Mexico. And they will send the runner Nuncio. The relay, not in time. There's Mexico's first run. Still nobody out. And Juarez at second with a double.
Pretty good swing right here. So the last ball was hit hard off the bat of Nuncio. This time it's a first pitch fastball that Victor Juarez in there for the second time. Rips it into right center field. There's no way that Luis Nuncio is slowing down on this one. Running on the swing, comes around to score the first run of this Little League World Series for Mexico.
He just got around that foot of the catcher Bernal. So still nobody out. Francisco Torres is the hitter here for Jose Miranda, taking ball 1. Francisco, another one of the youngest players in Williamsport, just 11 years old.
I got him.
He's not a big kid, but he takes a healthy rip, and he had pretty good bat speed there. 1-1.
easy situation to come into, too. You went off the bench, haven't taken a swing in probably 2.5 hours, and hit 75 miles an hour at you.
Antonio Rodriguez, the manager for the San Nicolas Little League team, told us this kid's gonna be a really good hitter. He hit that one foul. It is one of the littlest players on the team. He's upset he couldn't keep that one fair. And he's one of the youngest players of all 16 teams, but he's got a lot of hitting talent. He also told us that he is so into the Little League World Series. He's been going online watching clips of old Little League World Series games. Could not wait to get here. And he strikes out on the breaking ball. In the dirt, Bernal throws, and a daring break to third, safe with the slide. Victor Juarez took a chance there. As soon as the catcher made the throw, he took off. And he's down 4-1. That's a risk.
It's a breaking ball for the strikeout. A good job of Bernal again to get inside, make sure he makes the throw, and then heads up play by Pineda. That's a good throw across the diamond. Just a great break by Victor Juarez. Down 3, taking a chance right there, but he made it. Now just 60 feet away from the second run for Mexico.
So now we get another pinch hitter, left-handed hitter, Alejandro Trevino. You heard him at the top of the show if you were watching, where we let the kids introduce themselves. Called himself Alex. So Alex Trevino, another 11-year-old. Michael Jordan was long retired when Alex was born, but the legacy, the memory lives on.
Power.
Yeah. .68 pitches now for Tejada, with 1 out, runner at third. 2-1. I mean, this is a big spot here for Mexico. Even just get that second run.
2-1.
You still have, after the 4th inning, the 5th, the 6th, 6 more outs of life, even if you only get the 1.
And they keep running that pitch count up too. I mean, Tejada has been very good today, but this pitch number 70 on its way.
Got the strike call over the outside, 2-2. Well, I think you said it. It's not easy. You've been sitting around for a couple hours. You come off the bench for your first at bat in Williamsport, but trying to put the ball in play, get the bat on the ball here. 3-2. You figure the runner Juarez is going to be pretty aggressive if you can put it in play to try to score. Big pitch in this game right here. Ball 4. So with that pitch count mounting, 72 now for Tejada. He is above that threshold, so now you might as well let him go if you're comfortable with him still on the mound all the way up through 85. And at each of those thresholds, you can finish the at-bat. So technically, you can have a few more pitches above those threshold limits and still fall back into the category. Diego Cantu will hit here with 2 on and still only 1 out. You heard the "Si se puede" chant from the fans. Marisol documented how just about every family of all these players from Mexico is here. That one goes by the catcher. Juarez is going to try to score, and he will score. Bernal threw back to the pitcher covering, but too late. And that is that second run. It also allows Trevino to go to second.
I've seen this a few times today from Joaquin Tejada. The miss is up in the zone, and you can see Bernal sitting on the outside part of the plate to try to reach all the way across. And not enough time to throw out Juarez. So taking the chance to go to third base and the throw across the diamond. Now he scores on the ball to the backstop to make it a 2-run game.
Aquí no hay presión de una clase. Aquí no estamos divirtiendo, así que ¿para qué presión te podemos tener aquí? Vamos a divertirnos en este juego. Corta la bola al frente, vamos. Pienso que puede sacar ese out.
So I think, again, as much of a pep talk, trying to let Joaquin Tejada take a little breather as much as it was any sort of strategy. But you're right, that was that base running play by Juarez to make it from second to third set up that wild pitch to score the run. That's outside, 2-0. It was 4-0. Now 2 runs here in the fourth. It's 4-2. We've had a competitive, well-played game to get the Little League World Series started. Got the call that time. Bernal maybe helped him.
Yeah, definitely didn't hurt him.
2-1.
Strike 2 swinging. Cantu, the pinch hitter, and he missed it. That throw, just with the technique you described a moment ago. 2 down, and once again we'll go back down to Marisol.
Hey guys, down here near Team Mexico, and joining me right now is Nordan Gomez. He played here back in 2005, made the trek here this year. Your team has picked up some momentum this inning. What are your thoughts on how they're playing, and what advice would you give them?
So this experience for me is very excited because was only experience that you have in the life, and I always talk with the boys that they need to be a good effort to start to be here, and they are very excited to play in Williamsport.
And we are excited to watch them play. Thank you so much, and good luck with the rest of the tournament.
All right, thanks, Marisol. And that's ball 2. Well, these hitters this time, it's Rene Villarreal as a pinch hitter, getting themselves ahead of the count against Joaquin Tejada. 79 pitches, nearing the end of his day. Runner at second, 2 down. 2 runs already across for Mexico here in the 4th inning. A little bit low. Leonardo Bernal continues to be a spirited leader behind the plate.
If it were only that easy.
Yeah.
He's trying to throw it over the plate. I can promise you that. He's done a really good job of it so far. He's only given up 1 hit.
Well, I think that is true, where the catcher, he's getting a little agitated with his pitcher.
Here's that guy, Bernal.
If it were that easy.
Yes. If it were that easy, more would do it.
So we've gone past the stage of just emotional support. We're going to pump you up. We've moved past that. After Villarreal draws the walk. Now the pinch runner, and that's Patricio Juarez. Fabian Mar, the leadoff hitter, taking strike 1. Well, the walk, that has been the big play for Mexico. They only have the 1 hit. They've drawn 5 walks against Joaquin Tejada. That one is hit foul. It's 0-2. Another kid who told us, Fabian Mar, he watched our coverage of the Little League World Series basically from start to finish last year.
Any pointers for us?
Yeah, he's going to share those with us after this game. Perfect. A comebacker. Tejada gets out of the jam. 2 runs allowed, but the lead still intact. So we'll go to the 5th in Williamsport. The lead for Panama is 4-2. Dave Fleming, Kyle Peterson from Williamsport, and our Honda game summary. A 4-run top of the 3rd for Panama with a 3-run homer from one of the youngest players in the Little League World Series, SB Pineda. Joaquin Tejada's been a little while, but he's been effective, and a 4-2 lead for Panama.
And Victor Juarez has almost matched him on the mound too. 10 strikeouts for Juarez. Those 2 hits came with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Single by Carlos Gonzalez and a 3-run home run by SB Pineda as we head to the 5th.
So only the 2 hits allowed by Juarez is a good point you make. He has thrown the ball really well, but the middle of the order, those big hitters came up with a chance to do some damage, and they came through.
Play.
We will see those hitters again. Strike 1 swinging. Tomas Sarmiento 0 for 1. Second at bat for him, 3rd time through for the lineup. Ground ball. Leal too late. Enough speed for Sarmiento to beat it out. That's an infield hit.
60 feet bases and Jose Leal over at 3rd base playing back, so a long ways to have to charge this one. And then it's that hop. You're not quite sure what you're going to get off the grass, whether it's going to hit the dirt or the grass. Tomas Sarmiento, a little peak on the way down. Look at those big long strides, enough to beat it out for an infield single.
Yeah, the long strider getting to first base in a flash, Usain Bolt style. That's a base runner for Panama. Bernal, who has been extremely vocal behind the plate. 0 for 2 as a hitter. He struck out both times. That one in the dirt. Lopez just couldn't quite keep it around home plate. That allows Sarmiento to advance. That'll be a wild pitch.
Well,
this is big for Panama, trying to add to their lead in the 5th inning, and you got the 2 big hitters lined up next, 1 and 2.
One, two. Here you go. Pitch.
Bernal got a piece of it just to stay alive.
Play.
So I guess that was not a foul tip. That was just a swing and a miss. And now the ball dropped. He went to make the tag, and that's going to allow Bernal to reach base safely. Wow. Now, I thought he'd just given himself up. He started back toward the dugout, but it was not ruled that way. And Lopez went to put the tag on and lost the ball.
Yeah, I was with you. He had made contact. He might have been out right there. That front foot looked like it was almost out of the box. You could see the ball's dropped, so thought about running, then kind of peels off here in a minute. It's a fairly simple thing, but sometimes it'll come back and get to you, and it's the grab that ball with the bare hand when you go to make a tag. Raul Lopez, the catcher, went to tag him. Watch as Bernal's running down. That ball just shoots right out of there. Grab that ball with the bare hand when you go to make the tag. Instead, now Bernal standing on first base. So 2 on, nobody out for Panama with the heart of the order coming up.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Just hold it with your bare hand. Reach out and tag him. A lot easier. Well, now, very dangerous Carlos Gonzalez. 1 for 2 with an RBI single.
Ball.
Outside with ball 1. He takes a cut. That was a foul tip, so just a foul ball, 1-1. He lists his favorite big league player, at least one of them, is Yoenis Cespedes. He's got some of the, the build, the strength, the cut, the arm.
Play. Ball.
Good stop by Lopez, the catcher. 2-1. Depending on how this at bat goes, could be the final hitter for Victor Juarez. 82 pitches now. On the ground toward the middle. There's one. It's a double play.
Oh, that was that.
The run does come in to score, but that's big for Mexico. They get 2.
Al Cortez has been so good defensively at shortstop today for Mexico. We saw it in the first inning where he robbed a ball that looked like it was getting through off the bat of Gonzalez, and now here a good job just to get to it. Watch how smooth this is on the slide. Watch the foot. Smooth. Left foot steps out, then plenty of time to stand up and make that throw. That is perfectly done up the middle.
Beautiful. Their middle infield defense has been tremendous. Cortez at short, Garcia at second.
All right, here we go.
Even though it scores a run, the other thing it does is it gives Juarez a chance to potentially finish this inning.
Play.
Against Pineda, who hit the 3-run homer his last time up. Bats with the bases empty and 2 down. Shot that one foul. Man.
Pitcher.
Heads up Luis Gonzalez.
Quicker those things. Last time at bat, hits a home run to right center field. That time spins on a fastball in on his hands.
Did not go. Managed to hold up. 1-1. Well, we'll be talking about it a lot. The first home run of the Little League World Series by the 3rd youngest player who is here. There are only 10 players total among the 16 teams who are 11 years old. And he's one of them, and this is what he did his last time up.
This was it. At the time, it was a 1-run game. Not anymore. Fastball down and away. And the 11-year-old Esmith Pineda was deep out to right center field. Hit it about 240 feet. A 3-run home run at the time gave Panama a 4-0 lead.
Now they lead 5-2. Called a strike with the breaking ball.
He's out.
And he's out. So that's it. Panama is retired. But some really good defense helps limit the damage. Only 1 run, middle 5. Panama leads 5-2. We're back in Williamsport. It's the Little League World Series presented by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, and a great look from up above. We're at Volunteer up the hill at Lamedy. The hillside is starting to fill out as they get ready for the first game on the U.S. side of this Little League World Series. And that will follow us as we take a look at our bracket here in the 2016 Little League World Series. Rhode Island and New York. That's the first matchup on the U.S. side. Follows us on ESPN later this afternoon. Italy and Australia on the international side. And then tonight, 7 Eastern on ESPN. It's Oregon and Tennessee. The other 8 teams will all get their Little League World Series started tomorrow, Friday. Bottom of the 5th. And a first pitch strike from Joaquin Tejada, the starter who's still in for Panama. But not for long with those pitch limits. That was pitch number 85. So this will be his final hitter of the game. That's the shortstop Gael Cortez, who we have been so impressed by defensively.
He's done it all. Handled the hard hit balls, gave ground to start what was almost a double play, then turned his own double play a minute ago.
1-2. Both times up he has walked. Well, for Mexico, you've got the 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up. Down 3 runs. Got a piece of that curveball.
Pitcher.
One of our youngest fans, I don't know if officially the youngest. And it is a little, it's gotten hotter as this game has gone on. Might need that water bottle. He might need one shoe on, one shoe off.
Fun to face that way.
Still 1-2. Forecast is for beautiful weather this weekend and extending into next week, but I think the hottest days today and tomorrow maybe.
Starts to cool down. We got lows in the 50s next week. Feel good.
Cortez hanging in there. Well, it's still summertime, but we're getting toward the end of summer. That's one of the bittersweet things about this Little League World Series.
Summer forever, Dave.
Well, my bad. I forgot. Yeah, definitely feels like summertime today. Got him swinging on his final pitch of the game. Tejada gets the strikeout. So his 9th strikeout for the first out in the 5th, and I'm sure he'll get some high fives, maybe a handshake or two, maybe.
Está bien.
Get a pat on the shoulder just a minute.
Tú vaya.
So Panama will make the changes.
Hey, yep.
Yeah, fist bumps. We'll take that. And we'll come back here to Williamsport with all the changes right after this. Bottom 5, 5-2 Panama, and a pitching change for Panama with the lead here. 1 out. The starter Joaquin Tejada goes 4 1/3. Kyle, and pitched well.
Threw great. He gave up 1 hit. He struck out 9. That usually works out pretty well. And Joaquin Tejada, a good way to finish it too. Finished the previous inning at 84 pitches, so he could face one more hitter, and he made the most of it. That last hitter was strikeout number 9 on the day for Joaquin Tejada. So he exits, head to left field. 91 pitches, 9 strikeouts for Tejada today.
And the new pitcher is the hard-throwing right-hander Carlos Gonzalez. Foul ball for strike 1 against Jose Leal. 12 years old. He's got power at the plate. He's got power on the mound. .78-mile-an-hour fastball right at the knees.
0-2.
You see that MLB equivalent.
Already seen him throw it across the diamond, and it looks like it translates to the mound pretty well.
0-2.
Swing.
Yeah, real good swing.
80 miles an hour.
Pitcher.
Eduardo Rodriguez is now in right field. And Jose Torres at third. Gonzalez was at third as he goes to the mound. Got him. So he strikes out his first hitter of the Little League World Series. 2 down here in the 5th. Base is empty for Luis Nuncio.
Saw before when Tejada was in there nice and easy. Now this time a little bit more of a pronounced leg kick from Carlos Gonzalez, but another really good finish. Watch him get over that front foot. Really gets extension and the most out of that right arm. His last fastball today at 80 miles an hour.
Right on the corner. And that one blazing through. So this will be one of the hardest throwers we'll see in Williamsport. His first one was too fast. Our radar gun couldn't pick it up. He backed down to 80 there.
Just dialed a 2-seamer in at 80.
Basically facing Aroldis Chapman, the MLB equivalent, and he gets the call on the outside. It's 1-2.
ahead and mix in a backdoor breakable. 80 miles an hour fastball. Then hurt your hands a little bit if you're Leonardo Bernal back there. He's trying to get that left hand to work out.
Be careful what you wish for, Leonardo. He was a little ticked off at his first pitcher. That is a swinging strike 3. Throwing 80 miles an hour out of the bullpen for Panama. Bullpen, so to speak. And Panama's got the 5-2 lead through 5. Going to the 6th in Williamsport, game 1 of the Little League World Series. Panama with the 5-2 lead on Mexico. Well, you think the big leaguers forget about their Little League experience? They do not. We sat down with former Major Leaguer Jim Thome, who talked about his Little League experience as a parent.
My son's 8, so I'm around that age group, but also it's just a pleasure to be around it. You get the purity of the game, and to watch these kids just practice and love the game is a true pleasure and joy. There's no doubt.
One of the good guys.
Yep. Without a doubt, that purity of the game, I think, is one of the best things that we like every time we come here to Williamsport. Whether it's in the stands or whether it's on the field, it's the way it's supposed to be played.
Well, the new pitcher for Mexico, the shortstop Gael Cortez, comes in, and he is on the mound. Victor Juarez, who was the pitcher, replaces him at short. Gael, 13 years old. He's been the star defensively.
Yes, he has. I'd be surprised if we see too many better than Mr. Cortez at shortstop this week, because he has put on a show.
Well, for Mexico, important to try to keep this as close as possible. You're down to your final 3 outs, 6-inning games at Little League. That one popped up and playable. Who's going to take it? And it's dropped. Milton Gonzalez couldn't hold on. And you could just kind of tell whether it was the sun or whatever it was. He never looked totally comfortable under that ball. So that's a base runner, and Edward Rodriguez comes up for Panama. On the ground, and another chance. Gonzalez tries to go to second, and that's into left field. Second and third, nobody out. Gonzalez tried to be aggressive there and get the lead runner.
I think it's hard sometimes too. I mean, the game starts speeding up sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with getting that one out. You can see where the base runner is, and that's a hard pivot for a first baseman to make. To get your feet, make that throw on to the shortstop that's covering. Good time there just to take that out at first base, get the first out, see if you can't get the next 2 guys.
Instead, a great chance here for Panama to open this game up a little bit. Harrison Castillo for his second at bat of the game. With the infield in a little bit, that's a foul ball. Foul ball. Yeah.
Right here. Tranquilo, vamos, tranquilo, vamos.
Tranquilo, trying to stay calm at the plate. Not easy to do. You're on the big stage. It's Williamsport.
Play. Foul.
That's a foul ball, 0-2. And I said the infield that before that first pitch had been in a little more aggressively. Now it's mostly normal depth.
Play.
Cortez, you know he would love the strikeout. And he got it. You got to be careful there with that throw to make sure that runner at third isn't going to take off. And Raul Lopez, the catcher, did for out number 1. So that's a big first out. Keep the infield right where it was. Edouard Betancourt. Cortez throwing pretty hard. Second pitcher of the game for Mexico.
The 1 and 2 for both of these teams have been really impressive so far.
2-0. And pitch count is important here for the second pitchers into the game, because both these teams know tomorrow is an off day no matter what. Win or lose, you have tomorrow off. So if you stay below that threshold where you only need the 1 day of rest. Called a strike. 2-1. You stay below that threshold, well, then you have a chance for these second pitchers that we're seeing today to come back and either start the game or help on the mound day after tomorrow. The winner of this game will take on the winner of our second international game today, a little later this afternoon, 5 Eastern, right here on ESPN. That's Italy and Australia. That's ball 4. Bases are loaded. Well, all the excitement of the Little League World Series, including scores, stats, highlights, and more, can be found at LLBWS.org. You can also follow along using the hashtag LLWS. Kyle uses it on his social media.
Hay un out. Hay un out. Vamos a jugarles a la mitad. Vamos a tratar que esa carrera no entre. ¿Sale? Si el rolling es para la almohadilla, ustedes hacen doble play. ¿Sale? Tú vas a home. Tú vas a home. Casa llena. Sale, vámonos.
It almost looked like that last at bat too, that they were okay with walking Betancourt to load the bases and create the force at home plate, because everything was away and off the plate, away and off the plate.
Yeah, I think you're right. And look, my translation skills aren't perfect, but essentially ball up the middle, try to turn 2, ball up the corners, let's come home and get the force at home. A strikeout would work too. That's a swinging strike 1. Melvin Jaramillo, Lionel Messi fan. Oh, and 2. There's that breaking ball from Cortez.
0-2.
A little bit high.
What a good idea. Getting that 0-2 count. Maybe you can get somebody to chase that fastball away.
1-2.
Again, maybe just a little bit up. 2-2. One thing about pitching around a hitter to load the bases is it does take away your margin for error. So walk will force in a run. That target away. That one is low, and it gets through the catcher. That will score the run. It's 6-2 Panama. Joaquin Tejada comes in to score. They're going to rule that as a pass ball.
Trying to throw that fastball on the outside part of the plate. Got ahead 0-2. Now Jaramillo has done a good job of working that count back full.
First base is open again. That's ball 4. And now they're loaded up. Well, one thing I think for a catcher, if it's a breaking ball in the dirt low, catcher's sort of anticipating that bounce. Easier to get yourself into the good ball blocking position. When it's a fastball, I think sometimes that's the toughest play for a catcher, a fastball down.
Because a lot of times there's not enough time to move your body and block the fastball. Just going to have to throw that glove down there.
Strike zone's feeling a little smaller here. That was a pretty good looking pitch. Called the ball. to the leadoff hitter, Tomas Sarmiento. Bases loaded. 2-0. Sarmiento, a hit and a run in this game.
All right, here we go.
Gael Cortez getting a little frustrated maybe on the mound. Had a little meeting with himself, took a deep breath. Now a check swing out in front of the plate, and they'll come home to get the force out. Good play by Cortez. No shock considering the way we've seen him play shortstop.
Yeah, if there's a guy on the mound you want to make that play, it looks like it is Cortez, who hops right off of there. We've seen the great hands out at shortstop. And this is the 1-2 with the bases loaded. Ball not moving very hard, but watch how quick he gets off there. And now he knows about right now. There's enough time if you barehand it, make an easy flip in there to get that lead runner at home plate. Good job, too, of laying it up there, so it's a much easier play for Raul Lopez, the catcher, to make it. Didn't throw him a bullet from 10 feet away, just kind of flipped it up, knew he had enough time.
So 2 down, bases still loaded for Leonardo Bernal. Strike 1 with the fastball. Well, for Mexico now, this is really about trying to give themselves some kind of chance in the bottom of this 6th inning. Down 4 runs. Panama maybe 1 hit away from really putting this game away. Oh, 2. Set that target up. He went up, maybe not quite where he wanted to. Still 0-2. It's been a pretty long inning, 24 pitches. This will be number 25. Up onto the rooftop. Another 0-2 pitch in the dirt, breaking for the plate, and safe at home plate. Bethencourt scores. It's 7-2 Panama. On the wild pitch. Well, these 2 runs here in the 6th inning feel big. Cortez, who came to cover,
I think they're going to say everybody left too early.
All right. Okay. So that. The coaches from Panama may not be thrilled with that call, but I think that's what they're saying.
It's not kind of the red flag over there on first base, and that's what gets thrown out there if they thought the base runner left too early. Over on first base is where the issue was. Tomas Sarmiento, the runner on first base. You could discuss this one, but it is not a reviewable play. There are many that are here at the Little League World Series, but this isn't one of them.
So that would take that run off the board, unless they conference and decide to change the call. But I can't imagine they would.
Well, it's absolutely the right call too.
Very much so.
Absolutely the right call.
A good spot by Sante Del Vecchio. He's had a good game as the first base umpire. We've had some close plays over there. The runner cannot leave the base until the ball reaches the batter. A couple other base running rules in there as well, but that was called properly, no question about it. So everybody's got to go back to where they were. It's still 6-2.
A little new life too if you're Cortez out there on the mound. Run doesn't count. Still got a 1-2 count and a chance to end it with one pitch.
Another foul ball.
Pitcher, pitcher. One, two. Play.
And chopper not hit that hard. Going to be a tough play. Not in time. Victor Juarez did, I think, just about everything he could do. But that run does come in to score. 7-2 Panama.
So Victor Juarez, who started this game on the mound and threw so well this time in at shortstop, and he charges it. It's a good job of getting the ball over to the ham, but speed of Bernal is just enough. Hit it in the right spot. Infield single goes as an RBI, and Panama tacks another run up.
So it came off the board. Now it's back on there. Here's Carlos Gonzalez in the dirt with a fastball. And another run is home. 8-2. Armillo scores on the wild pitch. Sarmiento to third, Bernal to second. One ball, one strike to count to Carlos Gonzalez, who is now on the mound. He started the game at third base. He's going to try to get the final 3 outs in the bottom of this 6th inning. He's knocked in a run.
Play.
A little bloop and past the reach of Juarez. Base hit for Gonzalez. That scores 2. Panama has opened this game up 10-2. Not a bad pitch. Didn't hit it all that hard.
And I think based on the swings that we've seen from Gonzalez, if you get that, you probably take that every time when he's up there at the plate. Kind of a cue shot out to left field, and just nothing that Victor Juarez can do right off the end of the bat. The extension's actually really good, but just hit it in the right spot. So 2 more RBIs for Carlos Gonzalez. That's 3 on the day.
Still 2 down. Here's the guy who's had the big hit, the home run, and he fights one off into center field. Another hit for Panama. Pineda is 2 for 4. And the 6th inning goes on. Panama is now batted around. Joaquin Tejada, who got it started, reached on an error. That's how the whole thing got going. He hits for the 2nd time here in the top of the 6th. Mexico had played 4 times in the Little League World Series against a team from Panama and had gone 3-1. That is going to be 3-2 most likely here, unless something dramatic happens in the bottom of the 6th. Another wild pitch. Sometimes we wonder, it's been a long inning for Raul Lopez, the catcher.
Two.
Got him swinging, and at long last, that's the third out. But Panama scores 5 times to open the game up. Last chance for Mexico when we come back.
Little League World Series is presented by Kellogg's Frosted Flakes cereal. They're great.
High up above here in Williamsport, and our aerial coverage is brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. We're down here at Volunteer Stadium wrapping up Game 1. Game 2, first on the U.S. side, has just gotten underway, currently on ESPNU. And as soon as we're finished here with this game, that will switch over here to ESPN. New York and Rhode Island, the first game on the U.S. side. So they're out there. Big crowd here on day 1.
Hill.
Almost totally full. With 2 more games even after that one still to come today, and then 4 more games tomorrow. Little League World Series just getting started. And the team from Panama has been impressive here in Game 1. They have a 10-2 lead after a 5-run top of the 6th over Mexico. Last chance for Mexico. Panama, if they hang on, will play the winner of Italy and Australia. Hard hit ball, but foul off the bat of Victor Juarez to start the bottom of the 6th. Now look, we haven't seen them. We've seen in practice. We haven't seen Australia and Italy play, but those are 2 countries still trying to build their Little League baseball programs, and a big part of that is bringing teams here to Williamsport and generating interest, enthusiasm. There's a ground ball base hit. And who knows, maybe that'll start a rally for Mexico. But the point being, I think Panama will be in a very strong position, assuming they hang on to win this, waiting the winner of that game.
I mean, we've seen Australia the last few times here has won a game, but has never won 2 games here at the Little League World Series. A chance to see some of their kids the other day. They're big too. But you're right. I mean, the baseball history, they're not quite what it is for either one of these 2 countries.
And we'll see. I mean, last year you and I were here. The team from Uganda beat the team from the Dominican Republic in what would be considered a surprise.
Time! Right there. Second base.
Juarez goes to second on the wild pitch. Carlos Gonzalez trying to get the final 3 outs here. Jose Miranda is the hitter. Strike 2, 78-mile-an-hour fastball. Mexico's trying to take some positives. They've had some scoring chances. They've generated some opportunity. Haven't had that big hit. They don't get it here. 1 out. It's a double elimination tournament. Just because it hasn't happened that a team has lost its first game in this 16-team format and gone on to win the championship doesn't mean that it's never going to happen.
Well, he's got to do it first.
And there will be a year where it happens. One and 1. Milton Gonzalez 0 for 1 today. Carlos Gonzalez, the hard-throwing right-hander on the mound.
Ball.
2-1.
2-1.
There have been years, Kyle, where we've come here and because of watching the regionals on the U.S. side or for whatever reason, there's been a team that maybe would be considered a big favorite. I don't get that feeling at all this year. I think it feels like a Little League World Series that's wide open,
which makes it fun. We've already seen some
2-2
kids in this game that I think we're going to know their names pretty well here over the next week. One of them standing on the mound right now.
Little dribbler out in front of the plate. Bernal. Nice play. 2 down. Kind of exactly what you talked about with your valuable lesson from earlier in the game.
Put another valuable lesson on us there, Mr. Flemmer. Bernal get out there too and get the body turn. That's so key. Bare hand, turn that body so the right foot's set to make that throw. If anything isn't there, if the body is taking him out more towards third base, if he doesn't get all the way around it, there's no way he can get enough on that throw.
And Pineda also did a good job, as you pointed out, with your kids yesterday when you filmed all those valuable lessons. Clear that lane, make it easier on the catcher. So 2 down. Mexico's down to its final out. Eduardo Garcia swings and misses. He's a good math student. Swing away. I think that would be the message.
Choke up and rip one.
He took a pretty good cut.
Bernal's hand.
Yeah, I mean, his pitcher's hurting him.
Yeah, that's 2 in a row that have been thrown in the mid-70s, and you can see the reaction right there. It doesn't feel good. Aye.
Who else wants to catch?
Day off tomorrow.
2. Play.
0-2. Got him swinging, and that's the ball game. Leonardo Bernal behind the back to the umpire to finish things off. Panama, very impressive, I thought, Kyle, here in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great start by Joaquin Tejada. Struck out 9, allowed just 1 hit. Carlos Gonzalez showed us some flash over at third base, flashed at the plate and finished it off, and then the offense really took charge for Panama.
So Panama gets the win, and let's take a look at our brackets updated after game 1 of this 2016 Little League World Series. Panama beats Mexico. They'll play the winner of Italy, Australia, Canada, Japan, South Korea, Curacao. Tomorrow on the international side, Rhode Island and New York, they're underway up the hill. For Kyle Peterson, for Marisol Castro, Dave Fleming saying so long for Volunteer. Now alongside John Kruk, Carl Ravitch up at Labadee. Take it away, Carl.